Well, guys, welcome back to the Average Pundits podcast, your home of all things Premier League. And I guess you see the somber tone of the podcast. It's you all know what happened. You all know what happened at the weekend. Don't even look at me
What
like
happened,
that.
mate? I didn't see it. Anything happened?
Well,
Just a normal week of the Barclays. That's what it was.
the Barclays is a strange place. As you might tell, if you're watching on the video and also on audio, you hear a slightly different voice. It's not the Farmer Gloucester twang. It's football genius, Chris from Total Sport. Chris, how you doing?
Football visionary. Yes, mate. How are we? I've been better, mate. I've been better. I've been worse, but we're still alive.
Well, yeah, that's probably the main thing coming out of this weekend. We are alive, and as Chris is wearing his Liverpool shirt, you guys all know by the title, the thumbnail, the hatred and sadness of our voices that we are going to be ripping apart Liverpool right now. I think.
I'm here. I'm here to provide balance because I know you will. But I'm going to play devil's advocate today. Because Joe's not here. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate and try and filling his shoes as best as I can today.
Okay, I feel like as a Liverpool, we're both Liverpool fans. We'll get that out of the way. I mean, you obviously know that I am. Of course, you know that Chris is. If you watch Total Sport, and of course you do. Why aren't you subscribed?
If you don't, then go and do it right now.
Otherwise, they're heading for 1.1k subscribers by the end of October. Go and get it.
It shows that you watched the last video. This is a top fan here.
I'm always a top fan. I'm always the first in the comments. So
yeah, go on.
Let's get into
this, mate.
Let's get into the podcast. First, I think that you obviously watched the game as we all did in absolute horror. I think we should start by maybe reviewing what happened, what we all saw, what happened, and just sort of picking apart the display. And I mean, you've also you've kind of already gone through it on Rush the Cop as you do your reviews on there and everything like that. So just talk us through what your thoughts were on the game.
A lot of people will say it's the worst performance they've ever seen. Now, I'm the most embarrassed, but it's not the worst performance I've ever seen, actually. Because if you have a look at the stats, and I'm going to start this on a positive because it will be going very negative. A lot of people throw away XG. XG, Liverpool's was actually higher than Aston Villa's. They had 3 deflected goals, which were freaks.
Yeah.
And people will say, "Oh, you're a top red. You're not criticizing the players." No, I'm just starting this on a positive note because this is going to get ugly. All right. It's the first time I've questioned the Liverpool team's desire ever. Because we weren't even that bad going forward. We were actually pretty good going forward, especially Mo Salah. The rest of them maybe not.
Mo Salah was the only shining light from that game, and that was just because of his finishing. The rest is just downhill, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll start from the beginning. So, of course, Adrian with his... I'm going to say it's customary error now because it is. And it was just so frustrating. After 4 minutes already, then straight after that, Ross Barkley had an absolute sitter, which he missed. And then Watkins, who I did actually say in the Total Sport Premier League predictions would be an unbelievable signing, scored his second and then his third in the rest of the half. But yeah, mate, what do you think of that? Like, it wasn't just Adrian. A lot of people are just slating Adrian. I am one of them, okay? But of the back four themselves.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Now, I'm going to get, because this podcast is going to be split into a couple of sections. What a certain player I'm not going to mention because I have a topic, like a segment dedicated to him. But I will talk about, I think you'll guess by the positions that I'm going to go for. I'm going to talk about the 2 centre-backs and the left-back for a second. Now, I don't understand what the high line was about. We've been doing that for months. We play offside. And I don't understand why teams haven't counter-attacked us before. I mean, we saw from the Watford game, Ismaila Sarr tore us a new one. Whereas now we've got Ollie Watkins, who I thought was just bang average championship striker. But no, we've made him look like Ronaldo. And Liverpool have somehow made Jack Grealish look like Lionel Messi. How has that happened?
I think there's no disrespect to Villa, I think, because a lot of people gave Leeds a lot of credit for losing 4-3 to Liverpool. I don't think Villa have enough credit for beating Liverpool 7-2. Like, for a start, it's the best performance of Aston Villa I've seen for a long, long time. simultaneously with the worst I've seen in a long, long time for Liverpool, but it's not the worst ever. And then, yeah, so give them the full credit. Okay, Liverpool didn't just make them look like that; they did that, which was fair enough. Ross Barkley as well, by the way. Shout out to him. I thought he was excellent, and maybe he can revitalise his career. But I think the blame lies mostly with Gomez and Alexander-Arnold. Every single goal from open play, and there was 5 of them, came down the right-hand side. What more can I say?
Yeah. I suppose with that, you know what, I wasn't aiming to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold this early, but you know what? I think let's go there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, thoughts of him playing right back?
I think he's the best right. I think he's the right back. I think he's the best right back in the world, and I think one game doesn't change that. But there is serious defensive issues there with Gomez on that side with him. It's like, for example, when Lovren was with Moreno on the left-hand side a few years ago, it made Lovren look a lot worse than he actually was, which I think is what is happening. I think Gomez's confidence is shot, and that's making Trent look worse.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come at Trent Alexander-Arnold from a whole, like playing right back as a whole. I think, you know what, I'm going to start out like this. Trent Alexander-Arnold's passing, his vision, his football ability, passing-wise and just creating is phenomenal. Best, or one of the best in the world, probably in the Premier League only behind Kevin De Bruyne, maybe. In a midfield, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold would thrive because of what you said. He lacks a lot of defensive tendencies. He doesn't really defend all that well. If it was coming down, I've said this before, and I want to get your thoughts on this. In a defensive battle, like see who can pull off the most one-on-one tackles, Aaron Wan-Bissaka would pull off more than Trent Alexander-Arnold. What would you think? I mean, I think defensively, Wan-Bissaka's better. Offensively, Wan-Bissaka is nowhere near, I think. If you could merge the two players, you would have the greatest player of all time. Well, maybe not of all time, but
yeah. I see what you're saying, Reece, but at the same time, you have to look at Man United's defensive record. What's going on there?
A lot of the goals that do come from Man United is through the middle too. I mean, I don't know if you see. I mean, you saw last season the Project Restart. The first, Steven Bergwijn scored straight running through the middle. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of questions on both players, but what we forget is, and Trent Alexander-Arnold's been around for 4 years now. Yeah. Okay, he's 22 years old. He's not even close to his prime yet. Yeah. And that's what I think has to be thought about, is that he isn't there, but he is. He's still unbelievable, but he's not there, and that's where he could be.
Yeah. There is a lot to it is weird because he is arguably one of the best right backs in the world if we're going position wise, but then also he's got so much room to grow, and he's got an unbelievable ceiling again at 22 years of age. Do you see Jurgen Klopp moving him up the pitch at all?
No.
Do you not?
No. Not Jurgen Klopp. I think maybe under a new manager potentially, but the fullbacks are the most dangerous attacking creative force in a Jurgen Klopp team.
Yeah.
So why would he move him? But then if you think about it, if you get a more defensively able right back who can also go forward, Trent's better off in the midfield. I don't know. It's something that's going to need a lot of work on the training field and all that. For Trent to get used to playing in midfield, and for Trent to get used to not having to bomb up and down the sides and all that kind of stuff. I think that will come under a new manager rather than under Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I mean, if Trent can learn to stay back, I mean, not just even referencing the high line that Liverpool were playing, like, sort of a midline, between the box and the halfway line, and Trent just pinging passes across the pitch, either down the right or down the left to Mane or Salah. I think that Trent, that's where Trent can work, is his passing ability. If he can spread the play better, which he can, it's in his locker. Trent can do that. He just needs to start. I mean, the high line allows him to have more time to defend. It's not like he can't defend. It's the fact that his reaction time when it comes to defending is not elite yet.
Not yet. Yet is the key word. And that's what, he's 22 years old. I don't like to make excuses, but it is the way of the world. He's 22.
Yeah. You mentioned Joe Gomez as well. Do you think that the first goal was partially him to blame as well, or do you think it was solely on Adrian?
I can't blame Gomez for that one, man. I'm trying. Right. A lot of people went after Nico Williams a way back, and he got very, very upset about it, and that's why I don't like to directly really go for players, because if they hear it, because there's the off chance they will, it could really destroy their confidence. Joe Gomez's confidence is destroyed enough. All right, he's had a real bad time since Project Restart, and even before that. And one thing that I'll have to point out about Adrian as well is that he played the 9 games last season. He didn't keep many clean sheets, but Joel Matip was in front of him with Van Dijk. So maybe there's a trust issue between Gomez and Adrian. So there's so much, but yeah, Gomez wasn't quick enough, but Adrian gave it away, man. Adrian gave it away.
Yeah, I think there is Gomez is really young as well. He's early 20s.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of time.
That right-hand side is it's so young, it needs to develop. At one point, I would say that Gomez was probably England's best centre-back option.
I'd still say that. I'd definitely still say that, because what else has he got to compete with?
Oh, that's true. Harry Maguire,
Maguire.
Who generally, when you look at England's options for centre-back pairings, Gomez and Maguire are the only centre-back pairing I can really think of, unless we draft in, I don't know, Tarkowski or something. There's
Michael Keane, maybe.
I think he's past it. Michael Keane's past it. I think that there needs to be a surge of new centre backs through the England rankings, and I don't know if Liverpool needed to sign someone on deadline day. Obviously, that just passed, to go in that centre back spot. Do you think we could have probably benefited from that, especially after that performance?
I think it's a very tough one with transfers. Centre back wise, I think people would be we would be in Man United shoes. We'd be getting charged 60, 70 million for bang average right for centre backs, because we have just lost 7-2, and that's why I was really wary about going for a goalkeeper as well, because we would just be ripped off and it would not be worth it. So say we were going for Paulo Gazzaniga, that some people were throwing out there, that just wasn't true. If it was true, then we might have to be paying, say, 10, 20, 15, 10, 20, 15, 20 million, when in reality, he should be costing, 5?
Yeah. All he's good at is being a backup. It's like Romero at United. He's not, the star goalkeeper. He's bang average. If we're on the subject of the goalkeeper as well, wouldn't it? I know the Champions League final happened back in 2017, but Karius isn't a bad option as a backup. Let's be honest. He's not a first choice goalkeeper. His confidence is going to be low, but going on loan to Besiktas probably would have helped that, I think, and maybe him instead of Adrian would have been better.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And I doubt any fan would have said that after Adrian's gone and won the Super Cup, or had the 9 games where he was really actually quite good, even though he made a few mistakes. He was on free from West Ham. I don't know. I can't. I think Karius's wound in the Liverpool heart is too deep. And I think Adrian is in a very similar position now, but he's going to have to play because there's no other option.
Yeah, genuinely. It's that is the case. There is no one else. Who else are going to play? Lonergan or whatever.
Quinn Kelleher, he's impressed a few times, but you can't put that pressure on a kid.
No, that is true. I think with Adrian it is a little less. Liverpool fans are going to be. There's a lot of hatred there. I didn't really. I have a little bit of hate, but it's Aston Villa. It's in the Premier League. It's not as important as a Champions League final.
Champions League final, no.
So, I guess we'll come back to the Premier League debate in a second. Here's where myself is going to get a bit heated. I have been saying many times on these podcasts, there's a certain Liverpool striker. I've been saying on Twitter and everything. I do not like this strike. I have a disdain for Roberto Firmino. Chris, give me your thoughts on Roberto Firmino, please.
I had actually an argument with my dad the other night about Roberto Firmino, because in our house he's heralded as one of the best players I think I've seen play for Liverpool, and there's very, very good reason for that. Okay, back in between 2016 to 19, I'd say he was underappreciated. The work he did off the ball was unbelievable, and it's still happening. That's still happening. And you know, a load of people actually came, and now he's the most underrated player. But it's gone so far that way that it's gone the other way. He gets excused for making just the most basic passes wrong. He misses so many chances. Look, I'm not saying Bobby needs a break from the team, but I think he needs to buck his act up in training, because like he's obviously Jurgen Klopp loves him, you know, and obviously of course he does, but he gets a free ride every time. And that does frustrate me. But then I look at it and think, you know, I look at and I see Takumi Minamino, who I really like as well. But again, the same issues are there in the fact that his end product isn't good enough. That's just it.
Yeah, he hasn't scored in what now? 19 games.
Something like that.
19 games for a striker, not a defensive striker, as you know, a lot of Liverpool fans love to herald him as. He's not good enough. And I will keep saying we should have gone for. I mean, I guess it opens up the floor for Mo Salah and Sadio Mane to have the seasons that they do. But if you've got the firepower, and maybe even Firmino drops back a bit and we have a creative attacking midfielder, but even then, we have Thiago for that now. We have Thiago that's going to be creating chances.
Yeah, I see what you mean there, but I just think if you get the Roberto Firmino back, and to be fair, I think he's still doing the work off the ball. It's all about on the ball now.
Yeah.
And that's where he needs to improve. And yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one to say. Do you drop him? Because there will be a drop if you drop him.
Yeah.
Especially without Mane now, who has coronavirus.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully he'll be back for the Everton game. Hopefully the Everton game will still happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, but then you got Jota, who's come in and he's already looked really on the ball, especially on the ball. But yeah, it's a difficult one with Bobby. I do appreciate that, and especially because a lot of fans overappreciate him instead of underappreciate him now.
Yeah, he is now heralded as just some sort of god tier that people can't actually sort of critique him because he was so underappreciated for so long. I mean, I was one of those that said, like, yeah, he's great. And like you said, from 2016 and filling the boots of where Coutinho left, he kind of carried us over into the transition of what we are now. Yeah, after Coutinho left, bringing in Mo Salah and Mane, those three really gelled together really well. And with that, Firmino's kind of dropped into the back now. He's sort of not heralded as well. I mean, for me, not heralded as highly at all because of that on the ball. You know, sort of. I don't know what it is. Is it a lack of confidence? Does he not like attacking as much? Has he sort of enabled that self-fulfilling prophecy to come about and be like, yeah, I'm the defensive striker. I don't have the sort of reputation for scoring goals. Let me just create.
Yeah, well, but he hasn't really created that much either. Which I mean, I said in my player ratings for Rush the Cop, as you mentioned earlier, the only thing that stopped him being, I think, level with Adrian on the worst of the pitch is his assist for Salah. That's the only thing that stopped it. But yeah, I think what you're saying has some truth to it. Is the fact that he doesn't get criticised for missing chances. That is the big thing for me. When Mo Salah misses chances, he gets absolutely abused. Right? Firmino gets nothing because he's not expected to score goals. If I put Jordan Henderson in the positions that Bobby Firmino gets in, I expect Jordan Henderson to score. And if he misses, this man's the striker, you know? He needs to score.
Yeah. exactly. And like, if we had, you know what, put Divock Origi in those positions that Firmino was in. Is he going to finish? I mean, he's going to finish more of them, but he's not going to finish all of them. Let's be honest.
No.
The one against Villa, I think it was a chip shot opportunity, or it was through one goal. Salah put him through, and he went for a chip shot. It was weak. It was a bad shot. Put Divock Origi in that situation, he might have scored.
Yeah. Well, who knows? It's a real. But then you think, would Divock Origi be in that position?
Yeah, I guess.
And that's why Firmino is on the other side, is that he does get in the positions, which is why, and he had the third most shots in the league last year, so he gets in the positions. It's just about improving his conversion rate.
And how do you go about that? Is it his confidence dropping, or is it just his? I mean, we saw Mourinho, sort of weigh into Dele Alli for being a lazy trainer. Is that the same with Firmino? Do you reckon he's lazy on the training field?
No. I think it's confidence. I don't think any Jurgen Klopp player is lazy, because otherwise he'd be out the door.
Yeah.
Mamadou Sakho was the prime example.
Yeah.
If you mess around, you're out.
Yeah.
And I think for Bobby, I think it just needs one scrappy goal to just get it going. Maybe just like the hat-trick he scored against Arsenal. Maybe he needs a penalty. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just something to get him going again, because especially in front of goal, because if we get that Firmino back, the swagger, the confidence that he usually has, that makes us a much, much better team.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, like thinking of all the goals that Firmino scored, it was just so like, it was like you look at the goal and think, you know what, I like that. Even if it was like a simple just tap in, it was like, you know what, that's cool. The no look passes that he used to do, you do think, has he lost his confidence? Because he was going around, as you mentioned, with so much swagger that it was sort of like it was amazing to see. And now you sort of just wonder, like, what is this the drop off now of Roberto Firmino? Like, could this be his time to be, as you say, dropped? Does Diogo Jota fit in up front when Mane does return? That could be an option that we could see, because Jota can finish with either foot. Who knows? I mean, would you be opposed to Diogo Jota replacing Firmino for, say, 1 or 2 games? Just for a bit.
I've been calling for Diogo Jota to come to Liverpool for 6 to 7 months, and I love him as a player. Okay, don't get me wrong. But he's not Firmino yet, and I don't think he'll ever be Firmino. I think he's got a lot of attributes that Firmino doesn't have. I think he's a lot more like Mane, even though he's not as quick. He's a lot more like Mane in terms of the way he gets into goal, into the way he gets shots off, the way he gets into goal scoring positions. And I think he's best inside off the left. But if he wants to play up front, I wouldn't be averse to it. Again, I wouldn't be averse to Minamino playing up front, because he's really impressed me so far this year. He scored against Man City, and he scored against Arsenal in the Community Shield. Sorry, he scored twice against Lincoln. He just needs to get the ball rolling in the Premier League. But yeah, it's a difficult one with dropping Firmino, because it sounds so alien.
Yeah, it does. It does, and like you come back to like I was mentioning the Coutinho times. When Coutinho left, it was Mane and Firmino. Those are the two guys that were filling the role, and Salah coming in as well. And dropping Firmino, it's like, who do you put in there instead? I mean, Mane and Salah have both done stints up front. Could either Minamino or Jota cover in one of those positions? Say Jota comes in on the left and Mane goes up front, or Minamino comes in on the right and Salah goes up front. It's something. I mean, and then if we get more goals, we found the issue, and maybe take the back pocket cash and offload Firmino to Bayern Munich.
I wouldn't say that. I think that there will be a front three sale in the next 2 years. One of the three will go, and they need to really for Liverpool to get resale value. I don't know. I can't see anyone paying upwards of like 60 million for Firmino anyway. Is it worth him going? Do we transition him into the midfield? It's another one. He could be a midfield player if he wanted to. He's got the legs. He's got the creativity. I don't know. It's a really, really difficult one.
the problem with moving Firmino into the midfield is that we've got too many midfielders. It's the same with Trent. If you move him to the midfield, we've got too many midfielders. We have so much depth there. Like, you know, we've got Thiago, Fabinho, Keita, Henderson. If we moved Firmino back, we have Trent, Wijnaldum. You know, we've got Curtis Jones coming through the ranks as well. So many fantastic players in that midfield. I mean, James Milner as well, who, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he went to Leeds at this point, like say in January, and, you know, started his season there. But
yeah, maybe, and don't forget, and big shout out to Curtis Jones, by the way, because he came on and showed a lot of energy and desire against Villa.
one of the only players that did, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Liverpool Football Club in general is not in a crisis yet. Yeah. We have lost. Well, I'm going to put this into perspective here, because I know that a lot of people will click on this video expecting big rants. I'm going to put this into perspective here. Okay, we've won 3 games out of 4. We've played Chelsea and Arsenal already. We've beaten them. We're 3 points off the top. We're Premier League champions. It's not a crisis. A crisis is like Macclesfield, Bury. That's a crisis. Okay, not Liverpool.
Yeah, I do. I thing is, I do feel hard on by like sort of complaining about where our team is, and when in reality there are owners out there that just, you know, pardon the pun, bury clubs.
Yeah.
But like it's a fact. Like, there are so many teams down, like, you know, in the non-leagues as well, that are struggling, and then we're up here complaining about Roberto Firmino, you know, because he can't finish. I mean, all the players in the non-league can't finish, yet they love their players and they love their clubs.
Oh, so. Exactly. But then it doesn't give us a divine right to not complain at the same time. So exactly, it's just about finding the balance, and I think if we found the balance today of putting it into perspective and of just complaining a little bit. But we're not the only club to concede a lot of goals this weekend. So
I think that's why Joe isn't here right now. He's too ashamed to show his face after the result. I mean, that's another podcast. That is a complete other podcast. And I mean, saying that, they have had quite a good transfer window on deadline day of all things. I mean, they brought Tellez in, which is what they needed. Let's be honest. They needed to get rid of Luke Shaw at left back. So it's only a matter of time before they find their other centre back, and United are away, kind of.
See, for me, United's a really difficult one, because I think the club, whatever players are put on the pitch, are in trouble.
Oh yeah.
I think from the top down, the club's poisoned. Right. So me and my dad had a conversation about this the other day. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is too close to Ed Woodward. He's too close to the players, and the players are too close to him. There is such a entangle. It's a love triangle, basically. It is a love triangle, and if you get rid of one of them, and they'll all go, and it'll all go to pot. So you just need to get rid of all of them, basically. And the owners as well, they're all so close and intertwined. They don't want to upset each other. So if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer, I'd be like, I want Jadon Sancho. I will put my foot down. I want that man. Pay that money, and you will get results. If not, sack me.
Yeah.
What's happening? They've been battered by Crystal Palace. They were jammy as anything against Brighton, and they were absolutely, I'm not going to say the word, by Spurs.
They were annihilated.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. However unlucky they were to not have Lamella sent off. Okay. Yeah. That's the way the cookie crumbles. They got a penalty after the last minute. So I think their luck has run out for this season.
I think the karma was there. It was needed for United. It was, as you say, it's the way the cookie crumbles, lads. So the last thing I want to propose in this podcast is a big question that this podcast is named after. Will Liverpool, and we'll have a bit of a discussion of why or why not, will Liverpool win the Premier League this season?
Mm-hmm. I watched the kickoff last week with True Geordie, and they were going on like saying, "Oh, no one's going to challenge Liverpool. Oh, they're so far ahead of everyone." And I disagreed because it's the Premier League; anyone could beat anyone. People will say this week Liverpool are in crisis. They're in the mud. They're not even coming top four. Liverpool, they're awful.
Yeah.
I think it's all about finding a balance, isn't it? I think that Liverpool will be there and thereabouts with Man City and with Tottenham and with Man United. Okay. At this present time, you can't tell after 4 games.
Yeah.
Actually, no, maybe not with Man United. Sorry. Yeah, not with Man United. But with those 3, and maybe Everton, who knows?
Or Leicester. Maybe 3.
Or Leicester. But then people are saying, like, Everton are going to win the league. Nah. All right. If they win the league, fair enough. All right. Come back to this podcast. Send all the abuse my way. I don't mind. But yeah, it's all about. But it's 4 games in, man. We're less than a 10th of the way through the season, man.
Yeah.
There are. Let me think. Let me do the maths here. There are 102 points available for every team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Liverpool are 3 points behind the top, and there's 102 to get. It would be foolish to say yes or no, but that with this team and with this manager, they will be there and thereabouts.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp is right now. He's in a mode where he's a serial winner, but he's also against 2 other serial winners as well: Pep Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti to an extent, if we're being honest, and Jose Mourinho as well. All of them are serial winners. We've got serial winner managers, which is something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not. Hate me, Man United fans. But I think Jurgen Klopp is going to do the best that he can with what he has. It does frustrate me when we don't spend in the transfer window, and it's good that we have. It's good that we have Thiago. It's good that we have Jota, because as you say, Jota. It's been a long time coming for someone from that Wolves front 3 to get a move, and I'm glad it's Jota. I mean, as a massive fan of Adama Traore, I would have preferred that, but hey ho. I don't think it would fit our system anyways. I think that, if we're talking about people that can't really finish, he's one of them.
Yeah.
So he's just a speed merchant with baby oil. But as far as I'm going to agree. It's like we can't really tell at this point, which is kind of annoying because this title is the title.
You just being clickbaited, people.
Where's that gif of Rotashaw? But yeah, it's unclear. We don't know. I think. I predicted Liverpool to win the league on the Total Sport predictions video, which you should go and watch right now. And while you're over there, go subscribe as well. And just, I still have the belief in there that we can retain. And the thing that's pulling me back is we won the league by so much last season that we now, we're open to other teams beating us. We're open to Villa beating us, but we're beaten by Watford as well. Doesn't mean we can't go and win all the rest of our games or draw, a couple. So I think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be by a couple points, like a couple points less. Like there's going to be like maybe 6-7 points in it. And
it's very good for the Premier League as well, because Man City monopolised the league for 2 years. Well, no, Liverpool and Man City duopolised the league for 3 years. And yeah, it's good to be back to where it should be. I said even in that video that the points total to win the league will be under 90 points this season, and that's great for the Premier League. And it makes it so much more interesting. Like so many crazy results going on. It's like 2015-16 all over again. Yeah. Which really excites me as a football fan. Maybe not as a Liverpool fan, because I'd rather just win every game and dick the league. But that's not going to happen. Excuse my language. But yeah, I'd rather win every game and win the league. But it's great. It's great as a football fan, and it's actually a lot better for the Premier League. Yeah, definitely. I think it. Especially with the top 2 at the moment, returns us to the 80s, which is, if we have unpredictability, I think that's kind of where. I loved winning the league last season, but
I kind of lost interest in the game. I didn't watch a lot of the games at the end last season because I knew we won. That was it. And as soon as we won the last game to win the league, I kind of stopped watching. I kind of stopped getting interested in it. So the unpredictability, if it goes to the last day, if we have another Premier League season like when City won the league for the first time, that would be amazing. But maybe that with Everton.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be too happy with that. But someone like who knows? Villa might go win the league, and we've all predicted them to go down.
I didn't. I'm just saying I didn't predict him to go down. Visionary football genius. That's what he's saying.
I was going to say, that's why we call you the football visionary, football genius. Chris, thank you for joining us here on the podcast. You absolutely smashed it. Second best, or maybe the first best, Joe, sorry, co-host. Is there anything that you want to just quickly shout out for us?
Yeah. Subscribe to the Average Pundits. That's all I've got to say.
And I'll rebuttal that with subscribe to Total Sport. Like I said at the beginning, they're trying to go for 1.1k before the end of October. And I know that we can do that.
It's possible. Oh, Chris. Yeah, it's possible. Go subscribe. I'm not worried if we don't, but if you do, it's a happy bonus. Maybe you'll get some more videos from us.
Exactly. And we look forward to working with you and all the rest of the Total Sport lot as well. They do amazing content. If you don't go and check them out, I don't understand what you're doing. They've got so many great interviews with so many sports stars. It's unreal. The workload for you, Chris, is it's through the roof.
That's the one thing the COVID-19 brought is nothing else to do.
Exactly. And with that, also subscribe to us. We are on the road to 100 subscribers.
How many more?
We have 15 as of recording this video. We have this podcast. Sorry, we have 15 subscribers to get until the end of 2020. So make it happen, people, please. We need to hit 100 subscribers.
Get it going. Come on.
Let's go. Share this around with everyone that you know. Thank you for listening to us. Make sure you go and hit us on our Instagram at Average Pundits, our Twitter at Pundits Average, our email for any inquiries, or if you want to come on the podcast and let us know your opinions, it's the Average Pundits at outlook.com. Chris, what is your Twitter?
At Chris Stonage, STONADGE, because no one knows how to spell it.
Or if you can't spell, it's in a link in the description. Go
check that out.
And so is the Total Sport channel. Make sure you go and subscribe to them. And as always, we'll see you next time.